about tonight, SEO basics. So start at the very beginning. I'm sure people have a rough idea what SEO is, but if you are new, what is optimization? What it's not is paid ads and sponsored ads. So can't optimize that. That's Google's reign. That's Google's thing. They look after that. But you can optimize the free organic links. So that's the 10 little blue links that you traditionally saw 10 years ago right up the top, but not any longer because it kind of looks like this now. So this is a typical search result. So I've typed in kitty litter, and it's coming up at the top with sponsored links. Those are paid ads. We can't do anything about that. And there's one or more paid ads down below those sponsored links as well. Essentially, they push the organic results, which is the ones that we can manipulate with SEO. They push them down the page. This is slightly different. What I've done here, I've Googled flights to Gold Coast. And what we can see here is there's a sponsored ad at the top, of course. Ads get priority because they pay Google money. But then you've got something called Google snippets or featured snippets. And that's where Google illegally, badly grabs information from your site, from other sites, and displays it as their in a helpful manner. But again, it pushes down the organic results. So you imagine that as your first window, you type in that, you're getting all this stuff from Google, but the stuff that you're trying to manipulate is way down here now. So SEO is getting harder and harder every year as it goes on, because more stuff that's pushing the organic stuff down. It gets worse, okay? Have you heard of Google Generative AI search results? This is something new. It's being pushed out in the US right now. And this is going to come to a web browser some point this year here in Australia. So what's happening is when you type something in, Google is now going to generate all these results in AI, and it's going to take up the whole web browser. Can you see any organic links? No, that's all gone. It's all generated stuff. You might see one organic link, I think, at one point, but it gets pushed down really, really quickly. So this is something new that's going to come, whether you like it or not. If you, all right, so it's something to be aware. There's an organic result there, and it's gone.
Is this the one they told you to put glue in the pizza dough to make it blind better?
Yeah. So, sorry?
Brave browser.
The Brave browser. Yep.
They already like you type in something.
You get all that. Yeah. So this is kind of worrying for business users. We're not quite sure what it's going to mean from traffic, organic traffic from search. It's probably going to cut it down a bit. We're not too sure how it's going to affect it yet. It gets worse. Okay, so now Google said just last week that there are going to be ads inside the generative AI, which is going to push the organic links even further down. So you get paid ads, generative AI, ads within generative AI, more paid ads than the organic results. So it's a mess. It is a mess, but Google always wins. So why do I keep talking about Google? Here's the reason. This is the search engine market share for Australia between May last year and last year. So Google comes out 94% for Australia. And I mean, look at others down here. I mean, they're pitiful. So if you are concentrating on SEO, if you've not tried SEO before, Google's the one you want to optimize for first. Because if you're optimizing for anything else, you're going to lose out on all this traffic. You know, there's DuckDuckGo, which is always an alternative to Google for privacy. It's barely got 0.5%. So focus your efforts on Google first for that reason. You can target other SEO engines. It's probably worthwhile checking your results, see where they are. For DuckDuckGo, but really look at the stats there. There's not a lot you can do. Brave's not even on. Neither's Safari, note. So even if you're like anti-Microsoft, anti-Google, you know, if you're like, you know, even if your niche market doesn't appear or doesn't like to use Google or Microsoft stuff, that's Safari's not even on. Apple users are using Google, and focus your efforts on Google first. If you optimize with Google, then 90% of your stuff's going to come up on these ones as well. But don't go focusing on anything else other than Google initially. You had a question? Oh, you thought, yeah. They use the Bing, but with more privacy on board.
Cookies. It's Bing,
Yeah,
but no cookies. Yeah, no cookies.
yeah.
I thought so. It's just because you optimize for Bing, you can't do it way optimized for that.
Pretty much. But in the scheme of things, 90% versus nothing. So focus on Google. So the way that Google has a look at your site and ranks as number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all to the 10 is obviously very, very secret. You want to try and protect that, scam it, as you could in the 1990s, late 1990s, keyword stuffing. You know, best plumber Sydney, Sydney plumber, best fantastic plumber in Sydney. That's all gone. So Google has this algorithm now that's super secret. Put it in context. Okay, I'm going to tell you how secret it is. So imagine this is the super secret pyramid stuff. Bottom, we've got top secret security clearance. That's classified military documents, all your confidential company documents. It's all classified super. Got nuclear weapons program, just above that one, a secret. Then we've got KFC seasoning. Nobody knows what's in that stuff. If you Google that, there's like a million recipes. Or try that, but nobody really knows what it is. Number 2, hot and full crash recovery. I don't want you to know that it's been covering up for 80 years, but it's coming slowly. And right at the top is Google search results algorithm. So it's super, super secret. Don't worry about it. Try and break it. Just adhere to some of these efforts in here. So that was a bit of tongue-in-cheek. So here are the assumed Google rankings. Tell important people have tried to figure out through lots of tests and experiments what sort of stuff might be included in this super secret. And these are reasonable hypotheses for those. These are not any particular order. Page load speed. Google talks about this a lot. About you need to have a fast website, and it's not fast. We assume that that's going to be a ranking. It's really, really slow websites don't rank high on Google. So page loading speed is probably a very important signal. Mobile friendly definitely is. The way that Google indexes your site is mobile first. So it doesn't look at your desktop. It looks like how it renders on a mobile. Bear that in mind. Obviously, content is very, very key because you need to understand what you're trying to convey, what is on the web page, what it means for everyone. So website content, the quality length is very important. Other things like social signals. So that's the amount of shareability. People are sharing your content on social media, as well as backlinks. External companies linking to your content, thinking it's good and relevant and useful for their audience. We know that backlinks was very important way back when Google first indexed the web. It was one of the most important factors. But they have come out to say it's not as important anymore, or it's not right. It's a mixture of all these now. Certainly relevant images, optimized from relevant images. Google can understand images now for a long time, because you can have a image search, understands what's in there, but it also understands what context that image is within your content. So don't just go adding strange images with your content. I know you wouldn't, but it really does matter that relevant images are helpful to the content. Schema markup, you might know what schema is. Schema is intelligent data. So things like videos, events, recipes, there's lots of different types of schema. It's a way of wrapping a bit of HTML around to tell Google this type of content is a video content, it is a recipe content, it is a event content. And it allows Google to understand more about what that data is. And that's where they go and steal it and put it into the Google snippets right at the very top. Okay. But it is important, it allows Google to understand more about your content, your data. There's user experience, and this is part of the Google Core Web Values that was launched 2-3 years ago. So Google are now looking at how well people are able to navigate through your website, how they can click at things, how they can find information. And that is a ranking factor, people think now. So if people are having trouble navigating through your website, you're going to have a lower score than other websites who've got maybe a flatter hierarchy. People can easily get to what they want in the less number of clicks. So that's part of the experience. And of course, secure websites. All websites should be HTTPS now. Always run an SSL certificate, not just on your checkout page, you would have done maybe 10 years ago, but the whole site should be secure. So if you focus on these when you're doing SEO, you're going to go ahead of the trying to optimize their websites for SEO as well. So there's 3 core elements of SEO. There's technical, so that's your WordPress site. That's how WordPress generates the code, spits it out, displays it to you. There's the content, of course, for target audience. That's the information that you're giving to people and the quality of that. And then there's backlinks, so that's your external links coming in, pointing to your website. And all 3 parts you need to hit at some point if you want to have good SEO and get your website to rank above others. So let's run through technical SEO first. It's usually the easiest. Actually, it sounds difficult because it's a technical SEO, but it's usually the easiest because once you nail it, that's it, pretty much done. You don't really need to all the time revisit technical SEO. Once you've got the good framework, it just kind of runs. So some things that you might want to do if you're doing a technical SEO audit is you're going to look at your page site and speed. So not just your page, but all the important as well, like the single blog post page. So all your blog posts that you're generating, you want people to rank them, but you need to make sure that they're speedy and efficient. So just take a random sample of some of your blog posts and run them through a speed test to see what they're like. Usually blog posts are image heavy, so you want to have an eye to where the average speed of your blog posts are running. And of course, the website, so landing pages. So if you've got products and services, those are the sort of things that you want people to land on and buy and connect with. Make sure that they're running really quickly as well. Don't just go to your homepage, take a sample of different pages across your website and look at the average speed. Permalink or URL structure, I still come across businesses, companies who don't change that to post name or something. They've still got the squiggle P equals 1234, which is the ID of the post. Useless for SEO. There's nothing about it. So you need names, you need words in your permalink structure, and you need your URL structure to be reasonably flat, reasonably easy to navigate through. This comes in with Google linking through the websites, but also with your user find out where it is. Now, there's some exemptions. So things like sites got maybe a larger, deeper URL structure. So we might have holidays, kids holidays, New South Wales, or kids holidays, Australia, New South Wales, Sydney, that sort of thing. That's fine because Google will understand the hierarchy. If you've got a services or a products page, and you've got like 5 or 6 URL depth, that's probably too much, okay? Because people are not going to be able to find that information properly and navigate that through. So just make sure your URL structure makes sense when people are navigating through and they can get to your content. XML, WordPress by default generates one, which is good. An XML sitemap is just a list of all your posts pages on your website. It's a quick way to send to Google, and they then quickly look through all the pages on your website rather than having to come in and index it from the home page all the way through itself. It's a quick win to get all your pages up onto Google. Beware though, you don't want to include everything in the XML. For example, you probably don't include author pages, duplicates of your blog posts. You want to include tags because that's a duplicate of categories. So generally, when you install an SEO plugin, they probably have author and tags and categories within the sitemap. You want to keep it reasonably clear so that Google doesn't duplicate all that content. We've talked about SSL certificate. You want to make sure that's running. UX and UI, we've talked about that. So it's really important for people to be able to navigate through your website. Things about mobile as well, so mobile responsive. Make sure that your buttons and your navigation, people with chubby fingers can click on the buttons and they're not too close together. I had a website I was trying to get at a couple of weeks ago. Could not get rid of the banner because the X was so small and it was right next to someone else. So that was it. I just dumped the website. You want to make sure that all your pages, your posts, are generating the correct meta titles and descriptions. So that's used, of course, in Google when you see the organic links. You've got your title and description underneath. You want to make sure that they are being displayed properly, and you've not got your site name that's coming up, and you've got like a keyword WordPress generates. Make sure proper titles that you have curated. Make sure that you are redirecting all your old content. If you have a lot of 404s, then that's a signal that you're not really maintaining, and Google will notice that. And the best way to do that is to connect with Google Search Console. So Google Search Console, if you don't know, it's a bit different from Google Analytics. It tells you all the errors that your website's generating, basically. So you want to keep an eye on Google Search Console, go in there every so often, see what errors there are, and correct them. Most often it'll be 404s, but redirect those to something else. Okay, so 301 is a permanent redirection. So that content is no longer there. 302 is a soft redirection. Something else is replacing this just now. Make sure you do your redirects properly. And we talked about mobile friendly. But if you can go through that, that's like a yearly thing to do, I would reckon. Every year you go through, make sure your technical stuff is up to speed. But once you get it running, it's usually just a few tweaks every so often once you review it every. So any questions on technical SEO? I think this is.
Well, under UX,
Yeah.
websites.
Yeah. So accessibility, I talk about screen readers, contrast, the core web vitals. It gives lots of different scores on that particular part of it. So yeah. Probably the most important takeaway for content is write like a human. So write conversationally. I know when people get into SEO and they find their keywords, they're really excited about it and they want to promote their keywords. Generally, people tend to write around the keywords, which is the wrong way to do. So have a think. Yes, you want to write your keywords, but you want to have a conversation, a proper human-like readability content, not just writing for the sake of having to try to promote this one keyword. So keep it conversational. I like to, when I'm writing blog posts, I like to imagine that someone's right next to me, it's in front of me, and I'm explaining it to them for that. Or in this scenario, I'm teaching people how to do something. So two approaches, that's going to come off a lot more human than if you're trying to just write content around all these keywords that you're trying to rank for. Bear that in mind. So here's a few in general, you want to have one topic per page or post. There's exceptions, of course. Your homepage usually have a splattering of different things. Your blog, you've got all your different blog pages, your categories and your tag archives. Those aside, when you're writing a page or post, you generally want to target one topic per page, so Google understands what that is about. It's really difficult to rank with your keywords if you're all over the place with your different topics. So to one topic per page or post if possible. Google understands. It's got easier chance for you to rank your keyword in Google with that. Always use your H1 to H6. I probably don't use H4, H5, H6, but certainly H1, 2, and 3. I use those in my blog posts. The hierarchy. A lot of people say just have the one H1. Your H1 is your poster page title in WordPress. It's not. Google's come back to say it's not that important. You don't have to have that rule. If you have two H1s, it's not the end of the world. But in general, it's probably good practice to have one main title and then your subtitles and categories on that. Just a nice flow so that Google understands exactly how to navigate that content. Have your primary SEO keyword. And by keyword, I don't just mean one word. It could be a key phrase. Have that in your H1, your title for your post page, preferably towards the beginning rather than towards the end. Google gets a bit distracted when it reads it. It goes, okay, important stuff, and the very end, stuff to the beginning. In your H2 to H6 headings, you want to have your primary SEO keyword variants or synonyms. Okay, so you don't want to stuff your primary keyword everywhere because Google's going to flag that because that's not best practice anymore. But you do want to vary that keyword. Okay, so have 2 or 3, 4 or 5 different variations of your primary SEO keyword and use those in your H2, H6 titles and throughout your content as well. But it is very important, you probably put it up, to have your primary SEO keyword in your very first paragraph. So in your H1 title, page title, but also in that next paragraph, you want your primary in there. So Google really, it reinforces to Google that this is what this article is about. It's that first open paragraph is the one that we don't know, but we suspect that Google gives probably more weight to in line with the title as what is relevant to that particular content. This is up to you, but I like to write short paragraphs. Let people. So if you got a long form article, you want to easy bites for the eye, so that people can skim down to the important places, rather than just one long text. I've been doing LinkedIn newsletters for about a year now. They don't have a paragraph margin or padding. So when you're writing, long form, which I do, when you're reading it, it's just text, and just pop up the brains. Keep short paragraphs. I think is good practice. Plenty of white space round about. So points or number lists, things like that. You can change your content, but keep it nice and easy, friendly, and scannable. You want to include as many FAQs or related questions. We'll see later that Google has this as well on the search page. But when you're writing something, your primary SEO keyword or topic, you want to try and create as much related content as well. So you want to answer other related questions. Your content become the best it can be. Other people will have questions. There'll be little spin-offs that you can do. Within this section here, you can then link off to other bits of content, and that's you starting to internally link all your stuff together. So it's important to understand when you're writing a topic, people are going to have questions about different aspects of it. List them all, and then create other content from that. Yeah, and of course, link content is really important. Yeah, question.
I have like concrete examples. I'm doing like SEO for like a brand design agency, and the keyword would be like brand and design agency, for example, and they also have the slogan which makes it shine from the inside out. And like in the design that they gave me, like the slogan isn't really big, and like the subheadline would be very small. And I heard that like the H1 should be also like the biggest one, and it should always come at first. But like wouldn't make sense to make brands shine from the inside out as so big and like as the H1. So I'm kind of like I set up like all the fun, like maybe that's the question then I can refine. Like, how would you approach that, like the slogan and like the actual keyword?
Yeah, so you need to have a talk with the key stakeholders. So they probably paid a lot of money for that slogan, so they want it right up there, big neon lights, okay? Mm-hmm. But you need to have a conversation with them to say, is that what your target audience is looking for? When they're looking for clients, are their clients typing in, I want to shine from the inside out? Or are they typing, I want a WordPress website that's going to sell products and services, okay? So it's an importance level. You want to have your biggest thing is the most important. Yeah, the brand slogan is probably not as important. It probably is with Pepsi and Nike. They flaunt that in the adverts, but when you're starting out, then slogan's probably not going to be important. So have a conversation with the stakeholders and just say to them, look, is that how people are going to find you? If it isn't, we want to lower that down and make the things that people are looking for bigger.
Yeah, so like I kind of already had a bit of the conversation with them, and they were like, yeah, but like the other slogan is like what we want to say.
Yeah.
Like, so it's kind of like that's what we stand for. That's what we want to show to people.
That's important to have on your about page. What you are, your values, your mission statement. But your homepage is like it's the place where people hit the most. That's your target customers. It needs to sing to your target customers. It needs to tell you what they do, what they can get for benefits and features. So I'd just try and massage them into.
Yeah.
No, it's important.
Can I suggest as well, like big doesn't mean important necessarily. So you can just visual that is not important in terms of hierarchy of the page. So big doesn't mean it has to be a heading. So it can just be visually big through CSS.
Yeah.
And if it's not naturally a heading of the content that follows it, don't make it a heading, because otherwise it's really confusing. So every web page is basically just a document. So the H1s are the main headings, H2s are the subheadings, and then the content fits under that. So if it's not describing the content that follows, it's not a heading.
Yeah.
And otherwise you can just make it visually big.
Yeah.
Like a span. All right.
Yeah. Just a class of tagline.
It sounds like you might be hitting some ego a little bit.
Yeah.
But great question.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You might hear the term SEO copywriting. It's a fancy way of saying writing content to target your customer. Okay. So it's the same thing. Here's a quote from Kate. Kate's the Australian SEO specialist. SEO copyright, you're basically targeting your customers' pain points and goals specifically. So yes, there's going to be part of your website where you're talking about your products, your services, but you also have to think about your sales funnel. Yeah, you want to get sales, you want to get leads, you want to capture people in there, then you've got to be aware that people have different problems, different ways of interacting with the website, different ways of contacting you. So have a think where your ideal customer is, and you're going to be writing content for each of them in particular sales funnel, a particular position they're coming at you and trying to contact with you. So when you're doing SEO copywriting, you're really looking at your ideal customer. So who's going to buy from you? Who's going to buy your services and products? And then you want to have a look at what problems they have, what goals that they want, and you're writing content to help them achieve something like that. So you're either solving a problem or you're helping them get to somewhere from where they are to where they want to be. That's basically the crux of SEO copywriting. It's nothing special. It's just understanding where your customers are in the sales journey and writing content that's going to appeal to them to keep them on your website and to drill down further down that sales funnel. Example of that would be, so here example is going on the kitty litter thing. So if your keyword box that you want to for, practically how would you do that? The first thing I would do is come to Google, type in my preferred keyword and see what results are coming back. You want to take the top 3 results, top 1, 2, and 3. Your article, your content needs to be better than those. Google has ranked those 1, 2, and 3 because of the content, because of their links, because of their technical SEO, because of their content, because of their backlinks. If you want to compete with those, you've got to write a better. So have a look at what's in the first article, have a look at what's in the second article, what's in the third article, and your article needs to beat the pants off all 3 of those. Include the same information, additional information, better resources, better FAQs, and better than those with more references. And then you might stand a chance of pipping those to that point. Content is only one part. You've got to have the technical part, spitting it properly, the structure, the content that beats those, and then backlinks will have a look. But this is where I start whenever I'm doing any copywriting. I'll have my keyword, and I'll find out what is the first 3 posts, dissect them, what's good, what isn't, and ChatGPT can come in with that. You can list articles, put the content in, ask ChatGPT to do a gap analysis or a common analysis, and it'll tell you what common threads there are, what's missing from them. Don't just go and copy and paste stuff, write it in your own unique voice. But by taking these top 3, you'll have a clear idea of what structure you need to, what topics you need to cover, and then again, we want to add to it and make them even better than these top 3 articles. Any questions on content before we move on?
I have a question. First, there's actually a rating, which makes no sense. Why is it pulling a rating? And it even says review by Teresa Holden.
Yeah. I don't know that exact one. I just took a screenshot. Yeah, it could be a product.
But then it says 9 best calendar boxes of 2022. That makes no sense. That's a blog post.
Yeah, yeah.
So is that a review of the blog post?
There'd be schematic review content on that blog post.
Yeah, there must be some embedded product or something. Yeah.
Into the blog
They might
post.
just have like Amazon reviews embedded.
Yeah.
Amazon reviews, yeah, because that's product review.
Yeah.
But then which one is it pulling? How do you know?
Well, yeah, it's not easy. You got to do research.
Based on what you've looked at.
Yeah.
As well. So.
I reckon it's schema data associated with the page.
Yeah. Trying to promote something.
Well, you can put any schema on any page. It doesn't have to be a product, right?
Mm.
They could have imported their views to their website too.
Possibly. Yeah.
I've done that with some freemium stuff before, where I ported some of the reviews onto the page for the plugin for the product, and it's like a large content thing.
Yeah.
But I've not done it with a blog list. So,
But the fact that it pulled as a rich snip is very interesting.
Yeah, well,
Click on it.
that's what could be pushing that to the top. Just that one little.
Can we find that?
Yeah, you've got the URL there. Yeah, you can have a look.
Replaced by Reddit already.
Probably. Okay. The third part of SEO is backlinks. This is probably the most difficult part, actually, because it's kind of out with your control. You can do the technical SEO, you can modify WordPress, you can write your own content, but backlinks is more difficult to persuade people to link into your content, but it is necessary. Okay, so how do you find backlinks? If you're serious about SEO, you're probably going to want to invest in some SEO tool. So the two popular ones are SEMrush and Ahrefs. They're pretty expensive. They're a month at the starter level, and it goes up for whatever you want. But there is lots of free tools, but there's Ahrefs, which is pretty good. So you want to get started out. It'll show you some of the backlinks for a link. Not all of them, but some of them. So I've copied that URL for the first one in there.
That's a free version, or not free, but like 25 buck version, like Ahrefs. So it's like 25 or 30 bucks per month. You can look for keywords.
Yeah, so they've got different versions. SEMrush and Ahrefs have got different versions. You can pay for. You can pay for some tools in a bundle, or you can pay for like a pro package. This one gives it for free, which is a good starter, to give you an idea as to what to look for. So this one here, you can see that there's 406 backlinks from 157 unique domains, and it tells you which ones are no follow or which ones are follow and stuff. Gives you an idea as to how much effort you have to put in for backlinks, because backlink is a signal in the ranker. So you might have your technical SEO might be better, your content might be better, but you've still got to match the backlink as well. All three of these things are important. So what you could do is, if you've got a better article, then you can link out to these places and say, look, this one here is out of date. It's like 2001 or something. I've got a 2024 version, and it includes this extra stuff. So this is you reaching out to the website owner, the blog owner, to say, look, I've got a better version of this content. Would you mind swapping it over? So that's one strategy to do. Ahrefs gives you a little bit of information. So DR is domain rating. Yeah. So if you've got for example, you've got a website domain that's been running for 20 years, you're going to have probably a higher authority than one that's just been spun up 2 months ago. If you've got Microsoft.com, it's going to be a lot better than yeehaw.com down there. Got a .mil or .edu, so military educational site. They are really high up on the list, so they get a lot of authority for those. So you're looking at the domain rating for those. Don't go after rubbish ones. So I probably wouldn't go after that one. It's a Walmart coupons code. Probably not relevant, and it's a no follow. But this one here and this one here, even though it's no follow, these are pretty good. Domain rating's pretty high. UR is a URL rating. It's a href thing, internal thing, from 0 to 100 is how they think. So those are pretty low, but yeah, it gives you a starter for 10. So you can scan down those and see, if you can reach out to any of those website owners, you can get a backlink to that with your new content. Another strategy to look for 404s. So Ahrefs does this as well, not particularly in this one. I use a tool called Hike SEO because I got a lifetime. I'm a bit skimpy with paying things, but it lists websites within the particular keyword ranking that have articles got 404s in them. So they're linking out to an article that doesn't exist anymore. So you could then approach that website owner and say, look, I've noticed that this post is linking out to something that doesn't exist anymore. That's bad for your website. I've got a new article. Would you mind replacing that? It's worth a go. You're helping out the website owner. They're getting a better content as a result with no 404, and you're getting a link to it. So that's another strategy that you can use for backlinks. It's difficult. Backlink is probably one of the most difficult parts of SEO. You've not got a lot of control over if somebody gives you a link or not, but it's an important part of the whole aspect for that. Any questions on backlinks?
The do follow and not follow.
Yeah.
Which is better? Like do follow is better.
Yeah, follow.
So
They're generally no follows, but Google understands that. So when you're sharing stuff out, they're looking at the amount of shareability, not the actual shared link at all. No follow, you're basically, you put no follow in if you're writing a blog post and you've got some reference links that you want people to, that are useful for your article, but it's not particularly in any credence for your content, you want to mark those as no follows. You're saying to Google, look, these are helpful, but it's not contributing to the content or relevance of my website, basically. So when you're doing this research, you probably don't want to do the no follow ones unless you can try and convince them to change that to a follow, which is really difficult. Hi.
Yeah, I was just going to say, what do you think the chances are of a .mil domain name linking back to Kitty Litter?
Very, 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 very low.
That'd be very good.
Unless you've got a 3-star admiral who's really into cats. Oh yeah, that's it. I tell you, when my cat does its stuff, it smells pretty toxic. So maybe something in that. Okay, so how do you find your SEO keywords? A lot of people get stuck on this. So, okay, this is all good. I know what to do now, but how do I find the keywords that are relevant to me? Google helps with this. So once you understand your ideal customer, you should understand what problems they have, what goals they want. That gives you a rough idea with your products and services, some keywords that you want to use or that they're going to type in to try and find solutions to their problems or achieve their goals. Google here, you type in your general keywords for this, and I'd be keeping a spreadsheet for all this, just list them all down. But when you type into Google, it will then auto-complete a list down below of the most recent and relevant additional keywords for that. So we can see here, typed in kitty litter, it's come with box, tray, Woolworths, Coles, Mac, and Kmart. So Woolworths, Coles, and Kmart are probably not relevant because they're probably going to be coupons or products. But box and tray would be something that would catch my eye. So I maybe want to write a post that says, I don't know, kitty litter box versus tray, 2024 update, which one's best? That sort of thing, you know? If that's my relevant topic, obviously I'm typing kitty litter because I've got kitty litter products or services, that's why. But Google can be your friend here. So it can really tell you exactly what people are searching for. So have a look at that, jot down those extra keywords and do another research on that to see what comes up. And it can give you ideas for additional keywords and ideas for topics and content as well. Also further down the page is in Google is people also ask. This is absolute gold. So this is Google telling you what people are searching in addition to what you've already typed in. So I'd be doing this for each cycle. So type in kitty litter. I've got kitty litter box versus whatever it was, tray. I would type that in and come back to here to see what else people are chatting about or searching about within that particular topic. You're going to end up, maybe do this 10, 20 times. You're going to end up with maybe, I don't know, 180, 100 ideas for blog posts, titles, as well as additional keywords that are coming up for that. There you go. How do I make homemade cat litter? It's a whole niche in itself. The third good topic is, it's been bought over by Neil Patel, who's a big SEO marketing guru. But this records recent search terms, what people are searching for within those particular keywords. It's really, really good. And you can use it for free. I think there's a lot of good information for free. I think it limits searches per day that you're doing. But make sure you choose your country. It defaults to America, to the US. So if you're targeting Australia, make sure you type in Australia before you do any searches. But it visualizes the searches that people are doing. So the first one is questions. So you've got your when, which, who, why, that sort of stuff. So you can see exactly for how kitty litter works. Where's kitty litter made? So this can give you a really broad idea as to what people are searching for within your niche and your general keywords. It allows you to pick topics and also see if there's any additional keywords that you might want to go down in a particular niche that you want to go down. Similar for prepositions, so is, without, with, can, near. It could be a gold mine as well to find out ins on your topic and your keywords. You might want to generate. So these are usually your what they call long-term keywords, long-tail keywords. So it's not your primary focus, but it's additional stuff that people are interested in. You might find a whole little niche that you want to spin out into, and it will be that the top keyword everyone's typing for, but if you can get a good amount of content from that, then that's better than, like getting 2% of that is better than getting 0.0001% of the top keyword. So it's worthwhile going over these long tail keywords and seeing what actually. It's a really good, I think you get 3 searches per day with this. So you can really, if you take a week, go through quite a few keywords. Yeah, there's some. What was it? There was one. Whose kitty litter did I just? I want to know. Do you see that one?
What's the autocomplete on the rest of that?
Yeah. Whose kitty litter? Whose kitty litter did I just? What? Some bizarre stuff that people are searching. I'm sure this is filtered and anyway. So really, really, really good. Actually worthwhile paying for that as well if you're doing initial research, at least for like a month or so.
Does that cost as much as the SEMrush tool?
No, this is like $20 a month or $15 US dollars a month. It's, well, they're different plans, but we got all revamped when Neil Patel bought it. So he does a tool as well. Ubersuggest, yeah. So there's a package with Ubersuggest and this as well in it as well. Okay, so SEO copywriting. Yep, so on keywords. So keywords are good to focus on keywords, but you have to keep in mind what your customers are, what the end goal of your customers is, and that's called intent. So what your customer is trying to find. So if you imagine your sales funnel, you got at the top, you got people just asking for general stuff, looking at general, information about maybe something that's happening. In the middle, you got people who understand that there's a problem or there's a goal that they want to achieve, and it's a little bit more detailed. Yeah, and at the bottom, that's people who are doing research, kind of getting ready to buy stuff. So when you're writing your content, bear in mind that you've got different stages where people are coming into your website, and write content for each of those different stages, because not everyone's at the same buying potential of everyone else. So here's the 4 types of intent. People are searching stuff on the internet. The first one, navigational intent. So that's when people are looking for a brand or a company and they can't be bothered or don't know what the website is. They'll type in Coca-Cola, they'll come in Google, okay, that's it, click. Or a particular brand. For example, mine, Will Brown, search for that. Okay, that's his website and go in there. So navigational intent can kind of be put to one side as something people are looking for. Next 3 are your stuff. So informational intent is top of the funnel. Investigational intent is the middle of the funnel, and transactional intent is the bottom of the funnel. So that's when they're getting ready to buy stuff. So this is probably a better layout as to what you can, these different ones. So yes, navigational intent, that's good, but we're not really interested in that when we're promoting content. Informational, investigational, and transactional is where we want to be. So top of the funnel is generally things like tips, guides, how-tos, instructions. So it's people who aren't really aware what problems they are and they're looking for information about something that they've found out or somewhere that they want to do. Once they've got an idea that there's something out there that they want to achieve or they want to fix, that's when they go into investigational mode. So your content is a bit richer. So we're talking about reviews for your service or products. You're talking about testimonials, so the way that people use products and services, comparisons with other competitors, and yours one's fantastically better, of course, and similar types of stuff. So people are in more of a research mode in the middle, and that's your middle of the funnel. The content you want to write for transactional, that's when people have found your solution and they're now wondering whether they should buy it. Okay, so you want to write information that supports how they can buy it, what they're going to get, all the different price points for that, all the benefits they're going to get, how they can get the content, how affordable it is for them, how they can then subscribe or contact or actual product information themselves. So anything that's going to push them over that hurdle from your product or somebody else's product to buying your product. So that's the sales funnel part there. So you want to make sure that you're doing copywriting for each particular part of the sales funnel. Yeah.
Does Google give you the search term?
When you're typing something in, yeah, it'll tell you what you're.
They'll tell you what the user searched for? Is it possible to find out what the user searched for?
Not for intent, no. You can have a look at your Google Analytics and you can see where people are traveling through your website. and see where people are coming in at the different types of articles. So if you find people are right at the top of the funnel, they're looking at your tips, your guides, your how-tos, but you're not getting any traction on testimonials or reviews, you need to beef up your investigational content. And similar, if people are hitting your website, your blogs, but they're not buying from you, that shows you need to put a little bit more time and attention into the bottom of the funnel and create information that's going to push people down that particular way. So some tools. We talked about SEM and Ahrefs, and those are good and they're expensive. But on the WordPress side, you probably could do with a tool there as well to help you write that content. So there's 4 big tools out there. I mentioned 3 here. The first one is Rank Math. It's probably the best at the moment. If I was to start again, I would probably be using Rank Math for that. Its features in its free package are superb. Pro version is very, very good as well. In general, all 3 are the same. So when you're writing content, you put in what's called a focus keyword, which is your primary SEO keyword that you want to rank for. And when you're writing your content, you'll get an analysis report and it'll tell you how good you are out of a score of 0 to 100. That's their scale as to how good you think that content is. You aim to try and get it as close to 100 as possible, which is your best possible chance of Google picking it up for SEO. It's not going to mean it is. It's just a guide to help you write. So it's looking for things like I covered before in the content. Have you got your keyword? Which one? It's in your first paragraph. Have you got internal links? Have you got too many of your primary keywords? Have you not got enough of the variant keywords? That sort of stuff. So it's just an aid to help you write your content better without just a blank canvas and going for it yourself. Got a tutorial. So I do the New South Wales has a small business month every year. It's a whole month full of free content, webinars, and in-person workshops and things like that. So last year I did an SEO masterclass, which is basically a Rank Math tutorial. So if you want to see how Rank Math works and how it applies to content and rankings and stuff, then I go through that. It's about an hour long. So links there, willbrown.com, SBM for Small Business Month. And all the links will be in the Meetup page afterward. So you can watch that if you don't know which one or how to use these SEO tools. The one I use is SERPs. I like it. I've been using it for a few years. It works for me. And the other one is Yoast SEO. And the only real difference is that Yoast SEO has your basic SEO stuff. But then if you want to extend that to WooCommerce or Google Business or another few things, you've got to buy add-on modules, which are $150 a month on top of the Pro version. SEO Press and that in their Pro packages. So you need to pay for extra modules. So basically, that's more expensive than the others, Yoast. Even though it's probably the most popular plugins, the free version, probably the most popular ones out there. That's it. That's a roundup. What SEO is, some of the practices. We looked at the 3 core pillars, which is technical SEO, that's your WordPress implementation, the content, which is how you promote your stuff, and the backlinks, which is the hard part, trying to get links to your content. We've had a little bit of a look at some keyword tools as well, how to find keywords, and how to apply SEO when you're writing content with some of the tools as well. I could go in for hours on SEO. It's a huge topic. Each of these topics, you go for an hour each. So I've really just skimmed the surface here. If you want to know more, leave a comment on the Meetup. I'm happy to delve into any different areas. If you want to come to Meetup that's got more specifics or workshops like that. Otherwise, any questions, please let me know. And those are my details. Yeah, if you want to LinkedIn mostly. Cat picture on Instagram.
Business that is specific to a geographic location, what sort of changes of your approach would you take?
Yeah, so you want to hit hard on the local business, the local area. This is where, if you were using Yoast, you'd have to pay for their additional module. So when you're doing SEO, you're focusing on those map results. So people are typing stuff near me, nearby. You're going to appear on the Google map. And for that, you need your Google local business profile. So you want to focus on that You've not got a lot of area within that local profile, but you do want to have your optimized images, and your images link back to your offers on your website. You want to have events that are coming up, so you want to pay close attention to seasonal offers. That's a big thing for local ones. And again, mention on your local profile, but link back to your website. You're always linking back to your website, but you're using your Google local profile as your kind of driving factor for that. And you just want to optimize the hell out of that, really. But any of those plugins will help you do that as well. You attach the Google profile listing, and it'll help you optimize that as well. So, yeah.
Just a question, just about keywords. So sometimes we target in the keywords normally target in one area of the local area, for example, let's say engineer in Sydney. But normally when we do work, we focus the entire Sydney or the entire New South Wales. So I find it difficult to get a keyword to spread the entire Sydney to list out on the regions and the suburbs. So what is your strategy to?
I went to the SEO conference, the Sydney SEO conference. I think it was in February. There was someone talking about it. It's actually what they use is automation for that. So they spin up pages. It's a same template that you'd have your services, but they spin it up for different locations. So you'd have best plumbing Sydney, best plumbing Ballarat, best plumbing this, and your content would be mostly the same, but it would then pull in the different local keywords and put those into the content for those. So that's like big game SEO. So you're really kind of using automation, you're spinning up using templates dynamically. So when people are typing for that, it's coming up with Google. So if you want to do that, you've really got to target all those specific areas to try and beat the other competition. Because they're going to have local business profiles. They're going to have, all those different Sydney or New South Wales areas as well. So you need to compete with that. And the only way you can really compete with that is by creating the same or more of those different, really highly focused local keyword pages for those. I can't remember exactly what it's called, a particular term for it. But yeah, that's what they do. They spin up lots of different pages using dynamic templates for that.
You can use a plugin called Page Generative Pro. So you just take your site and then just put a quotation location, and then it tells you to upload an Excel file. Just go to ChatGPT, write every suburb in Sydney or Penrith or West Sydney. Gives you a list, chuck it in there. Boom, legend.
But you want to have unique content that's specific to that particular area. So you might be pulling information from government APIs about footfalls, about gender, about age groups, about different things. So you can target that information specifically for that area. Because there's a reason why you want to target that area, and it's because your services do something with that particular area, not just because you service it. So you need to find like some sort of unique data that's going to enable people to go, well, that's why I want to choose this person in this particular area, because they know the area, because they understand that particular concept there.
So a little bit like before, you're talking about competing keywords or competing businesses that are competing with you. But you can turn that around and also look for gaps too. If there's a business not servicing, like there's a shortage of search results for a particular area.
Yeah. But doing local SEO is really difficult because you're competing with all those those concepts there. So you need to understand who's dominant in particular areas and have a look as to not only what their website is like, but also how their Google local profiles happening, what they're appearing on the maps, have they got an office there, a physical location. The Google reviews then start to kick in with local stuff as well. So there's a whole extra amount of effort you need to do when you're targeting local businesses. Does that help?
Everything we want to expand the business everywhere, not
Yeah.
just local. Because sometimes it's just, let's say, plumbing in 5 dollars, for example.
Yeah.
And then we don't pop.
Yeah, look, it's difficult targeting everywhere. You get less specific when you're targeting everywhere. You want to choose your locations wisely initially so you can build up your following, your local presence there. And then if that's successfully getting traction, then you want to duplicate that model for everywhere else. But you can't compete with someone in an area if you've not got any reviews from that area, if you've not got a bricks and mortar office that people can walk in there. It's really difficult for you as a virtual business to struggle with a local shop to that. So there's SEO strategy, but there's local strategy and footfall and presence there that you need to take into consideration as well.
And then we can't bid for the paid SEO, like the paid ads.
No, yeah, go for it. Ads are completely separate. Yeah, you can pay $1,000 an impression to quash your competition. Yeah, paid's are completely different. When you're talking about organic, there's only so much control that you have to manipulate. With paid, it's the highest bidder wins, and Google wins even more.
It's currently at $63, just so you know.
Whoa. But they can afford it with price they charge. Anything else?
For the, sorry.
Yes, sir.
For the SEMrush the platform, is that reliable? How is ranking in terms of the other SEO engine?
They're both reasonably equal. They've got their own different ways of scraping stats to come in, and they've got their own metrics, so 0 to 100. So it's never going to be an exact match to what you find on Google, but it's their best interpretation. That's where they make their business from. You know, one's going to say they're better than the other. So at the Sydney SEO conference, you had one of the guys from Ahrefs, and he was telling you why his is better than SEMrush, basically. And I'm sure if you had the SEMrush on there, they'd be saying exactly the same. So the way that the scrape data is going to be different, but they're both competing products, so they're both going to be roughly similar. It's down to a personal preference, I think, and some of the features that they offer might be a little bit better, but they're always playing catch up.
I think the SEMrush local tool is pretty good.
Okay.
Like for managing all your listings and citations.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
If you're running this, if you run an SEO business, you've probably got both. And see the differences. You know.
I think for local SEO, SEMrush is winning out.
That's got social media. The Ahrefs is just links.
Yeah. Okay. So, question in the back.
Yeah, just as a SEO service provider or SEO business, what are the areas to focus on? What's the bang for the buck that the client can get?
So if you were to provide an SEO service to somebody, what would the client get in return?
Yeah, I mean, what should we offer? And typically, you have to offer some sort of report every month.
Minimum, a report every month as to what you're doing, and that would include the content, the articles you're doing, the keywords that you're trying to optimize for, the backlink outreach that you're doing as well, and a whole list of here's what last month's was and here's what this month is as well. But it's not just about keywords; it's also about your Google Analytics. You know, what's the client's primary focus? Is it to increase eyes on the website? Is it to drive conversions? Is it to get more leads? So there's different focus on what the client would need. It's not just a once for all, just, oh, look, you've increased in your rankings. Yes, but I'm not selling any. So there needs to be a clear goal as to why you're putting all this effort in and the client's paying you for that. So yeah, you want to, at the very least, reports are one thing, but you need to be proving your worth. And the client needs to understand it's not a one-time thing. It's a continual process as well. And you're probably not going to see results for 6 or 12 months, that sort of period, unless you're in a very, very sharp niche that you're breaking into that no one else is in there. Basically, a very slow process, very costly, but it's even more costly if they don't do SEO. That's what you have to try. You know, if you don't do any SEO, you drop in the ranks. I had one customer come to me a couple of weeks ago. They've hadn't done anything on the website for 5 years, and they're now not even on page 10 of Google. And I'm like, yes. That's what happens. That's what happens.
Yeah, can we put all SEO keywords in the title? Or do we have to?
No. You have one primary keyword or key phrase for one page or one blog post. That's what you want to focus on. So that's in your title, it's in your first paragraph, Yep. And then within that page, you want to have variations of that particular keyword. You don't want to put keyword, because then Google goes, no, keyword stuffing. So, but it needs to be in the title, it needs to be in the paragraph. And you need to have relevant search keywords throughout your document that back up your primary keyword.
I switch all the SEO keywords inside the content the Google will find out.
No, you'll get penalized. Yeah.
How much does the order matter? Like, in a sense, sometimes you have like brand agency in Melbourne. Or, Like, or the keyword would be like brand agency in Melbourne, for example.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's like a bit like wordy, like different from like how people would write. Like, how much does that matter to get it like exactly? Or
it matters a little bit. So your title's probably got 160 characters, I think, before Google kind of chops it off. So that's why you want to have your primary keyword towards the beginning, but not in such a way as it looks really pants, as if you're trying to just put the keyword in front. So it needs to make human readable sense, and as far into the beginning as you can, it's better.
If you do a really bad job, Google will take it over and write their own, and then getting it back is really hard. So you've got to remember that as soon as Google takes over your titles, getting Google to re-index the page and replace the title seems to take a long time. So just make sure that you don't muck it up too much, particularly the page title, because that's your title result.
Yeah.
I've had a client before, they did something weird where they, you know how how with Yoast post-penned something, and they post-penned something weird and did a real short title because they wanted their brand everywhere. And it made a real big mess. And Google took them over, and then it took us like 6 months to get them to start coming back.
That's the worst. When you go into WordPress in your settings and you have your site title that's got, you know, best plumbing in Sydney with a mobile number and stuff, and then let WordPress generate the title, you've maybe got plumbing Sydney, and then you got best plumbing Sydney, contact number, blah, blah, blah. No. I know you think it's doing a good thing because you're putting the brand in name, but it's not really, because Google doesn't like that. It's not readable. You know, so. I'm going to end it because 7:30 we went way overboard. Thanks very much for your attention. Thank you for your questions as well. Come along next week if you want to speed up your WordPress website. Next month, sorry. Next week. That was ambitious. Yeah. Grab some pizza if there's any left. Yeah.
You said you guys need speakers and stuff.
Yeah.
I noticed you guys are sponsors. How does one become a sponsor?
There's a sponsor link on the website. So if you go on WordCamp site, so you go there and there's a form to fill out, basically. Yeah, fill out a form. It comes back to me, and then we'll get back to you as to what different packages. What's different packages? Yeah. Thanks, Kim.
And as a sponsor, am I still allowed to, I don't know, get up and talk and stuff? As a sponsor, would I still be eligible to get up and talk and stuff? Or would that be like a biased thing?
Yeah, it's not part of the sponsor package.
Yeah, but like would that permit me?
Oh yes, you can still apply. As a sponsor, you can still apply to speak, but the sponsor doesn't preference you for a speaking part.
No, of course. Yeah. It's just like, obviously, because it becomes more biased.
No, we choose all
no issue in that regard. It's just random.
No, all the speakers are chosen on their own merit. We've got the organisers applying to speak as well. And I said to them, well, just because you're an organiser, you don't get to automatically speak.
And in terms of a sponsor, do you guys have like what would you call it? Anti-conflict thing? So like if you already have a sponsor doing X, would you not take on another sponsor doing it?
No.
That's all good?
No, it's up to the individual sponsor. They can see who's, we've not got them on the website just yet, but we'll start putting them up.
Yep.
It's up to the individual sponsor. If they see there's another 5 web hosting companies, then they might not feel as if they get a return of investment if they go for that particular package. So it's completely up to the sponsor to do that.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Have a great
Extra
day. Pleasure
questions?
meeting you.
Same to you. Hello.
Just a quick question.